It's halfway through the school year at Furfield, once labelled the worst school in Britain. With £2.4 million of investment, it's still proving an uphill climb to turn this failing school round.
Thank you, any more?
Today, Carol McAlpine and her staff are being humiliated, but in a good cause. It's Red Nose Day.
Now look at me.
Sorry, miss.
Will you do it again?
No, miss.
Well, we have to put that on as well.
I have.
From the start of the year, 14-year-old Callum Sowerby has been in trouble. It's a growing problem for Deputy Head Lynn Ackland and special needs teacher Ros Watt.
Right, Callum. You're a different kettle of fish altogether. Because you were good throughout the whole lesson. Apart from... You were good for the whole lesson. And you blew it right at the last minute.
I'm going to be jumping in a second.
I'm not sure whether she wants to see you or not.
Yeah.
But why did you blow it at the last minute, Tony?
Not Tony,
Tony,
man.
sorry, Callum.
Under Fresh Start, the 11-year-olds of 7W are getting intensive help with their literacy. Some came here with a reading age of 5-year-olds. But already real progress has been made. Today, 7W are being taught by a supply teacher, Peter Walsh. With the levels of staff absenteeism, he's now full-time at Furfield.
I was only supposed to be for 2 days, and I fell in love with the place. First I was here, the kids were brilliant. Aye, come in here. And they asked me back on the Monday, and I went, aye. And I've been here on and off ever since. I love it. Could stay here forever, man.
Peter Walsh is an unconventional teacher. He left school at 16 and is currently working on a PhD in poetry.
What'd you do when you go like that?
Key.
Oh. What'd you do with a key in the lock? Yeah.
Turn it off the left.
Good girl.
His relaxed approach to teaching and discipline contrasts with the brisk new Furfield philosophy.
If you want to leave, then we can finish it after dinner before I tell your stories.
Come on, let's have a look.
Well done. Then put your name on these. And I left school with nothing. And I worked in jobs all over the place, you know. I was on the dole a lot, even when beyond 16. But there was always one or two teachers always used to say to me, one of these days, son, you'll be back. You know? And they were right, by God, they were right. And I've kind of always modelled myself on just 2 or 3 teachers that I knew who really believed in you, and they knew even when you were bad in a class that you weren't a bad person. There's no such thing as a bad kid, there's only bad behaviour. You know what I mean? And sometimes you can't address that, and you've got to accept that fact that you just can't address it, you know?
Because he's just been sent out of a lesson where he'd refused to do the work. Do you know what the work was?
Callum's in trouble again.
Did you hear what was going on?
Right, well, you just sit there then and I'll find you some work, no problem.
He could do a description of
right.
his home, which he
Okay.
didn't do for me this morning.
Right, okay. All right, thanks very much. How much time of the lesson has he wasted then? Oh, quite a lot, so you can actually I'll waste some of your lunchtime then. Right, thank you. Sorry, Gerald. Yeah.
While Callum kicks his heels, Deputy Head Lynn Ackland's planning a party.
Oh, hello, it's Furfield School here. It used to be Blake Law School. Hi. We're having a cheese and wine on Thursday. We'd like to support you by buying the cheese and the wine from you for about 80 people. If you could cost out some cheese biscuits and wine. No, it'd be about 1 glass for 40. and wine. I should think it's about half and half, isn't it? Drinkers and non-drinkers. No, little bit per person. Nibbles per person. I don't know, about 1.5 ounces or something, 2 ounces per person.
Under Fresh Start, the school has 5 years to double the number of pupils from 400 to 800. So Lynn is hoping to encourage local primary schools to recommend Furfield to parents by hosting a party.
Cheeses. 1 blue cheese, the cheapest, 1 cheddar and 1 Dutch. Yeah, just a selection of, like crackers and things like that. Yeah. And I'm the deputy head, okay. Thank you, bye.
With her non-exclusion policy, Carol needs a sin bin to house Furfield's troublemakers, and she wants Maverick Peter Walsh to run it.
What we're looking for is someone to work with some of the more difficult youngsters.
Yeah.
Now, it's people like Callum Surby. I don't know if you've met with Callum yet. John Hall of John Hallson. Those types of youngsters that really haven't experienced success in classroom at all. Now, these are youngsters that, for most of the time, will not be in class.
Now, the ones you would have are the ones with emotional behavioural difficulties, are the ones who have been in and out of school, have probably been excluded from other schools. Some of them will probably never be reintegrated back into classes.
Yeah.
But that always has to be the aim.
You've still got to keep them within the curriculum, though.
Oh, yes, but I would suggest you have to build up your relationship with them first.
Yeah.
So there's this trust.
You'd need that couple of weeks in the room.
Yes, you have to establish yourself.
But there's a video there, so you can have a bit of respite,
And there's a computer.
It's trying to get over that feeling that they're not alienated any more than they should be.
That's right.
You know, because I remember when I was at school, the sin bin was... It just made us worse. You know that dreaded sin bin they used to have in school?
Tom O'Malley's sin bin,
Oh,
yeah.
God. And it always made you worse, you know. You always felt like you were getting further alienated.
Yeah.
You know, you were alienated enough in the classroom.
1 or 2 bits and pieces, though, Peter. Get yourself a watch.
I know. I never wear watches.
Right, because we really need them kept to time. because-
You have let us down, Peter, on occasion.
I know.
Yeah, and, we're aware of that, and we really have to, because everyone's watching this group of kids, OK? And if you let them out a couple of minutes early or whatever, people are onto us like a ton of bricks. Don't get too familiar with them either.
No.
Okay, because
I know my distance.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
that's something that people have brought to us and said, about your handling with some of them, that you've sometimes gone over the top with them.
Aye, but
So-
see, they don't really know me that well, because I do know what I'm doing, with it.
Well, yeah, I mean, we know that too,
Aye.
but, you've got to be careful.
Lynn Ackland's been shopping for the primary school's reception, all in a day's work for a deputy head.
It's a bit boring, isn't it? Just a load of cheese. Got my personal shopping as well. I'm exhausted now.
Carol McAlpine, head teacher.
And we've met many times. Linda Hammond, assistant head.
And we've just met outside. I'm William Muir from the Educational Psychology Service. Nice to see you.
Having said Furfield won't exclude pupils, Carol's called in Callum's parents to suggest he leave of his own accord.
I mean, we've really tried to move mountains with Callum, but I think we're at a stage now that we have to take some monumental decisions, just where we go next with Callum.
We identified pretty quickly in September that he was having problems. Now, he was struggling with his reading, he was struggling with his written work, and I think some of his behavioural problems was linked with the fact that he felt really daft in front of his mates, not being able to do it, and he was trying to take the edge off that by misbehaving. What happened gradually over a period of time was he was withdrawn from more and more lessons, because more and more lessons he was having problems, and it was felt more appropriate for the other students in that group as well as for Callum's needs for him to work in the task room. And he's very, very confrontational with some staff.
And sometimes I think he goes out of his way to try to be confrontational with them. He'll come out of the task room and will actually go to a member of staff's door that he has no need to be anywhere near and gives them a lot of abuse, and that's not acceptable.
It is. I mean, one big concern is the number of times he leaves the classroom without permission. If he's leaving the classroom without permission, we don't know where he is, we don't know what he's doing, because teachers are having to chase him here and everywhere, and he was found in the toilet. He's actually found in the act of graffitiing in the toilets.
I'm sure Willie will agree, we use an awful lot more strategies than an awful lot of other schools do. And I mean, I'm really patient with him. I mean, you know the types of things we've done with him. And we're just getting to the end of our strategies with Callum.
I mean, we also had a concern about his mental health, because he quite often is described by staff as really depressed. And it's just like this blackness.
I guess we're thinking that straightforwardly mainstream school looks as if it hasn't got much more to offer Callum.
Yes.
I mean, I think that's what he's telling us.
I think really what we're saying is we're now at the stage of looking to see if we should explore a special school placement for Callum.
If you mention special school at Callum, I think you just blow up.
No, well, I
think he thinks it's...
I don't think that's how we talk about it to Callum. We have to say that we're trying to find something else that would actually, you know, meet his needs and try to prepare Callum to leave school. So I think it's really a selling job that we have to do to Callum in a positive way, that we all agree that, you know, this is the way forward for Callum and that he'll enjoy it.
He's quite an intelligent kid. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
He's quite intelligent, you know, and he does act stupid at times, but he knows exactly what he's doing in the long run.
Only half the primary schools invited have bothered to send anyone to the party.
I was asked to buy enough for 80. I bought enough for 45, and I think we're still going to have quite a lot over. So I think I've counted 10 people, visitors. At the moment, the relationships aren't really established, and it's a bit kind of suspicious. A lot of them fed to Kenton School, and some of the parents think that the old Blake Law School was rubbish and everything, and so not many of their children would coming to here because they thought it was a crap school, rubbish school, and everything. And now they're thinking if they promote us, will they be doing a disservice to their children, etc. So it's a bit suspicious. Also, remember, we're all new, and they're all established relationships with Kenton. So that's why. But it's not a really very successful event.
Carol McAlpine is a head teacher in demand. Today she's in Durham addressing primary heads on 2 terms progress at Fairfield. The message is always upbeat.
Thanks for giving us the opportunity to come and tell you about what we're doing in Fairfield. I mean, we've been absolutely overwhelmed by the change in our students. We've looked at what our expected GCSE results are going to be. Blake Laws were 4%. Youngsters getting 5 or more GCSEs. We're confident we'll get it into double figures. Attendance rates were sitting at the high 60s. Average attendance. I mean, very, very poor. Coupled with that, there were very high exclusion rates operating within the school. Before Blake Law closed, the official statistics were something like 15% of the school was excluded at that point in time. And that was the official statistics. Attendance is sitting between 91 and 92%. And we have excluded no one.
You've got to say true, false, or not enough evidence, right, for this picture. These are good things, because they test your eyesight, right? You've not done that, and we've not done.
While Callum Sowerby waits for a decision on his future, he's been sent to Peter Walsh's increasingly popular sin bin.
The bridge over the canal is more than 100 years old.
Aye, it is.
How do you know?
Bridge thing there, 1862.
Right, true. The girl in the canoe under the bridge is wearing a life jacket.
Well, sir, how do we know? That could have been 1862 then.
That could be 1962, aye. Aye, that's true, not enough evidence. The girl is wearing a life jacket in the canoe.
Aye.
The biggest problem in education, and the biggest problem in this country, is apathy. It's a disease, it's a cancer, and it's never ever been tackled. Apathy, what do you do with it? How do you get rid of apathy? It's the biggest enemy I've ever met in teaching, is apathy. Total indifference. This education system will never be modernised until all these stupid farts with their theories and their sociology realise that half the kids are not academic. And nothing's going to make them academic. They're just wasting their bloody time ramming curriculum up their bums. Get an alternative curriculum for kids. Find out the ones that are good at art or good at design or good at PE and nurture that. You know what I mean? Beyond the basics. Everybody needs the basics. It's everybody's right to have the basics. I mean, don't ever be surprised that half these kids can't read and write, because they bloody well can. And they can count as well. It might take them a wee bit slower. It's like anything. If you don't use your brain, you get rusty. And these kids have... That's education for... These kids have totally seized up their wheels. There's nothing there for them, so they've just switched off.
Hello.
We're not serving any food.
Why?
No, bad behaviour yesterday.
Oh, look, syringe.
No, sorry.
Can I just get a can of pop? Because
No,
that one's in
nah. Wrong corner.
Well, Kathy, you get him on.
Well, man, I've got to...
Late.
So you've got the Chief Education Officer coming in today?
He's coming in at 2 o'clock. Yeah, just to have a look around and see where we're at, and I'll probably nobble him about a few things. Went. The path went right through here. The famous right-of-way.
I remember when Steve Byers was here, when he was still Minister for School Standards. We were walking, I think we were just walking across. In the middle of a conversation, you had a man with his dog walking right across in front of the Minister for School Standards.
Absolutely dreadful. What are you doing in this school? Where should you be? Well, out you go down that way. What school do you go to?
Can't tell you.
Oh, you can't tell us. All right.
Later, telling you.
Go down that way.
What's the situation been like in terms of
it's great.
security?
Absolutely brilliant. We've had no broken windows, David. None. But this is other schools are in service today.
Oh yes, first day of term.
And we're not in service.
Yeah.
What Carol wants to nobble David Bell about is the GCSE targets. She's worried she won't meet them.
And that's one of my things that I want to talk to you about the targets that were set under this Fresh Start, because, I mean, they're totally apart from each other. We need to look at it in 2 counts. I said to him, where did you get those target figures? You know, what were you using as your benchmarking to get these figures? And he said, well, it's quite simple. We took the Blake Law figures and doubled them. Now, I went off the deep end.
But I think I'm just slightly nervous about moving towards a change to the targets within 2 terms.
I think you need to look at it though, David. You know, they're not going to make 17%, 16.5%, no way. But what worries me, it's not really this year's Year 11 that worries me, because I know that we're able to improve it. It's Year 10, who are a very poor year group, ability-wise, motivation-wise, the lot.
I mean, don't forget, we were putting together those figures on the back of a bid to persuade the government to keep this school open.
Yes.
And I make no apologies for the fact that we had to present an optimistic and upbeat picture. But I don't think we can just say, well, next year's Year 11 are not going to be satisfactory, that's it. I think let's wait until the summer. Wait till the summer in September, that would be a good thing.
That's exciting. Second windy in 5 days.
What happened?
It was just the wind, actually. Callum was banging about with the wind. Was it his fault? But that's the second job in 5 days. I think I'm a serial windy breaker. I can see my contract getting terminated.
Carol's gamble on Peter Walsh is looking increasingly risky. Other teachers are complaining his easygoing style's undermining their authority.
What form did this complaint come in then?
It's just the usual crap. I hear it all the time, Richard. It's just over-familiar with the kids. You get that all the time. Teachers will complain because I take the kids' arms. Teachers will complain because I let the kids call me Peter. The only valid one out the lot it was the kids watching me smoke. That was about the only valid complaint out the lot. The rest of them were crap. I don't take them on board because, like I say, it says more about the teachers that complain than it says about me, you know what I mean? It speaks volumes for the teaching profession. If they can't handle a wee bit of intimacy with their students. Because I had that in my last school and I had it at the school before. endlessly justifying myself every 2 days. You know, despite their official warning things and all that. Hello, who's watching you? You gotta help me take this to Skip. Alright. Who's sure there, miss? What?
The old Blakelaw School was built for 1,000 pupils. When Carol arrived, she found the roll had dropped below 400. For her first 2 years, she's got an enhanced local authority budget that assumes an 800 pupil school. But after that, she reverts to a standard budget tied to the actual school roll. She's got to get the numbers up or sack teachers.
Now, big difficulties surrounding increasing numbers in this area, David. Something like
Carol's worried that children in the local primaries are being unfairly directed to other secondary schools.
And I think what's happened is that they have been instructed just to put down Kenton, not to put down a second choice.
I mean, the issue about numbers is, and we're going to have to talk, I guess, some fairly hard talk about this. We cannot continue beyond, to subsidise a school beyond what our agreement was. Yeah. Now, if the school doesn't get the numbers up to what we've anticipated, clearly what you'll then have to do is to say, well, what does our staffing structure look like? And you may have to scale back at that point. There will not be a change of the budget allocation for that.
But I think what you have to be clear about, though, is that those youngsters aren't going to materialise.
I'll tell you a funny story about a Skip, you know. I once, I was told if I was caught peeing in my town again, I was going to get locked up for the weekend. So I was coming out of a pub once and they were doing up the Sally Ann's and there was a Skip there and I says, I'll jump in there and do a pee. Here I jumped in, I couldn't get out, I was that drunk. I got arrested anyway. I was going, help! I seen this hand coming over, it was a policewoman. Are you sure we can put glass in here? There you go. I seen this hand with a leather glove on it coming over the Skip. And she pulled me out, it was a policewoman. I was covered in dust and sticks and I got fined £40. I says, what for? Breaking into a Skip? Right, I'm going to a couple drawers of 5. Hey, they're still shifting stuff for Mr. Bradley's. Is all that glass out? Better watch, I'm spying on smoking yesterday.
Well, Mr. Bradley, you know.
Where is he?
He just stands at his window.
Oh, rules are there to be broken. It's when you break the rules it means you're thinking for yourself. When you disagree with a rule, you can say, hey, at least I'm thinking for myself. It's the people that obey rules all the time you start worrying about. And that's a true thing. It's like sometimes the most disruptive kids at school are always the brightest. Because they're questioning the validity of what they're supposed to be doing.
Peter Walsh stayed to the end of the school year, but was not re-engaged. Callum has been found a place at a special unit, and the Director of Education refused to be nobbled.
We're talking about something like £500,000 extra to a school with a similar size of role. And that's not been without controversy. I guess that, like any good head teacher, Carol thought, well, maybe when he comes, there'll be a bit more largesse. No, there's not. There's no more largesse. You've got to sort it out.